Good afternoon, welcome to another landscape photography video. Today I'm at Salmon Beach in a place called Windy Harbour, and it's very aptly named. I don't think I've ever been here before when it wasn't windy, but today is actually one of the calmer days, believe it or not. And this is, I think, a pretty underrated beach for the southwest of Western Australia. We've got these awesome cliffs back here that cascade down right onto the ocean there, and it's actually even better looking down the other way. So I'm hoping to do a sunset shoot here today. And with the wind direction, in previous times I've been here, it's been coming in off the water, so I've had a lot of trouble with sea spray and that sort of thing. Today it's actually blowing out towards the ocean, so even though it is quite windy, I shouldn't have too much trouble with my photography. But right now it's still very early on in the afternoon, and I think what I'll do is just head down to the beach. I've only got the one camera in my hand and my phone on me at the moment because the car park is just behind me. And I think I'm gonna have a little bit of a scouting mission and then come back down when the light gets nice and golden and see if we can get some shots. So I was actually in Pemberton this morning, hoping to do some forest and waterfall shoots this afternoon. But with the current weather, it's nice and sunny, and I thought I'd better make the most of it and get down to the beach because that is going to change next week. Another reason why I've come down to Windy Harbour specifically is because it's a prime viewing location for the Aurora, and there is a little bit of that expected over the next night or so. So I'll be in a pretty good position for that if it does show up. The only downside is there's a bit of cloud on the forecast for the next few nights as well. So I'll be battling with that as well as some smoke from prescribed burns. So hopefully it all works out, and at the very least, I'll get some sunrise and sunset shoots in. I have photographed this part of Salmon Beach before with the boulders down on the sand and the headland off in the distance there. But the weather conditions were very different to what they are today, so I'm considering giving this shot a go again. I think it will work nice as a panoramic shot, so not too much sky, not too much sand in there, just the boulders and the hills over there. So that is one potential shot that I could get this afternoon. And now I'm gonna head back down to the other side of the beach and see if I can find anything down there, because the colour of that hill was pretty spectacular, and I think we might be a little bit more sheltered from the weather there as well. Another thing that I'm seeing here, which I think looks really cool, is the reflections of the cliffs on the wet sand once the waves are washed back out. I think that could make a nice shot at sunset as well. So I'll stick that in the bag of possibilities, and I'm just going to keep heading all the way to the end of the beach and see what we can find over there. This is probably the perfect spot to get that reflection shot that I was thinking of. There is a little bit of a raised section on the beach just here, and then the waves are washing up onto this lower part. So if I stand up on here, I won't get too wet, and I should be able to get some nice reflections. Just picture that, but glowing at sunset. I think that'll be pretty cool. Definitely a landscape orientation shot, maybe a panorama. We'll see how we go. But I'm almost at the end of the beach now, and I've got at least 2 potential shots to go after this afternoon. Let's see if I can find a third. It's very calm and beautiful right down this end of the beach, but unfortunately as you get closer to the headland that's behind me here, it kind of loses its scale and there isn't a whole lot of foreground interest in front of it either. So I think I will just shoot back up where I started, and then maybe after the sunset or just before it, I'll run back and try and get those reflection shots. But yeah, it's surprising how sheltered it really is in this corner of the beach today, because it is definitely quite windy out the other side, and then right in the corner there, you wouldn't even know that it's a windy day. So now I'm just gonna head back to the car, get the rest of my gear sorted. I don't think I've got too much to do, but it's almost 5 o'clock now, and I'll head down just before 6 to start shooting. So I'll see you then. And I'm back. Believe it or not, even though I've been parked up there pretty much all day, I'm heading back down to the beach a little bit later than I would have liked. And that's because I decided to go for a bit of a drive and I left my tripod on the back of the bus. I was just going to suss out some other spots in this national park. But yeah, I left my tripod on the bumper at the back, drove off, and as I got back to the car park, I realized what I had done, but I couldn't find the tripod anywhere. It actually made it a fair way up the hill, and I had to drive back up and find it on the verge there. Luckily, it's unharmed, everything's all good, and the sunset shoot is about to begin. So today I'm shooting on my Sony a7R5, and I've got the 16 to 35mm G lens on. It's the f4. It's a nice small lightweight lens, and it takes a filter thread, but I'm not using any filters for this shoot this afternoon. I don't think that'd really benefit me in any way. I actually used to have the f2.8 G Master 16 to 35, and I decided to downsize to this just because I don't really need the 2.8 for most of my general landscape sort of stuff. And I've got another dedicated astrophotography lens, so this setup works well for me. Thanks to all of this smoke that's on the horizon, golden hour has started a little bit early, but it is really thick out there, so I think the light might not last as long this afternoon, and I have to hurry up and start shooting. Also, when I went for a drive before, was sussing out some spots for the Aurora if it happens, and it's not looking too good for me tonight. There's way too much smoke. I'll keep an eye on it and give it a go if anything happens, but I don't have high hopes. Those damn prescribed burns ruining all my fun. I'm actually really stoked with how this shot is turning out so far. Just set up on the edge of these boulders here with the headland in the back there. I'm waiting for a little bit of water movement to swirl around this rock here, which is coming right now, hopefully. Yeah, here we go. So I'll get a shot, and I'm actually focus stacking this, so the first shot will be focused on this boulder over here, and then I'll take another one on the next rock back, and I'm shooting at f14, so that should be enough depth of field to get the whole scene nice and sharp in 2 photos. So the GoPro never picks this up too well because it doesn't focus very close, but in the shot here I've got this rock on the left hand side, one sort of more to the right hand center, and then all of that headland glowing in the light up there off to the right. So that mixed in with some water flow in the front here, I think we've got a good shot. The smoke seems to be covering a bit of the golden light here and there, so I think I've got to hurry up, get a good shot of this, and then make my way all the way back down to the other side there. Alright, that's enough of that. I can see that the sun has gone over a sort of thick patch of smoke just above the horizon, but it does look like it might come out the other side and it might get another bit of nice light on the other headland. So I'm just going to quickly walk up there and fingers crossed we get some more light and I get that shot with the reflections as well. We'll see how we go. The sun is just setting down below the horizon now, and unfortunately since that first shot that I took back on the other side of the beach, there hasn't been any golden light, but I have been getting some really nice reflections on the sand here in front of this headland, and I think the tide's starting to come in, so I'm about to call it quits. But this is basically the shot that we're looking at. Got some nice sand in the foreground, bit of wave action, and then the hillside there. There has been a little bit of golden light because it's sunset, but just not that really awesome glow that I'm usually after. That was a big wave. Yeah, I just haven't got that really cool glow on the side of the hill that I'm usually after, but we'll have to make do. Maybe a little bit of post-processing can bring it out a bit more. But I'm gonna pack up and call it quits. So I will see you tonight if there is any aurora. Otherwise, I'm gonna continue this video on for a sunrise shoot down the other end of Windy Harbour in the morning. So I'll see you then. Whilst heading back to the car park, I noticed this scene. And even though that the sun had already set and it was getting quite dark, I was able to get one last shot for the afternoon just by bumping my camera's ISO up. It is absolutely freezing up here tonight. But at some point throughout the evening, the clouds have cleared and the smoke currently is only very low down on the horizon. And that's just in time for our CME to hit. So the aurora should be starting fairly soon, all going to plan. I've got one camera set up just running a time lapse, and I'm about to set this one up very shortly. Unfortunately, it does look like there is a bit more cloud out off the west coast, which is coming our way, and if it does that, I might get cut short, but hopefully this aurora starts pretty quickly and I get some shots before that happens. So I'm gonna go and set this camera up right now. Because the weather wasn't exactly in my favour this evening, I decided to set up out of the weather and try and find an area that was sheltered from the wind, rather than just trying to find the best compositions. I believe this was a good call to make because the cloud did cover a lot of the sky for a large amount of the night, but because I was out of the wind, I was able to just sit back, relax and watch the aurora all night. Well, the aurora certainly did show up last night, as you would have just seen in that time-lapse footage. I've actually been up the entire night because it just kept on going, and I decided I was going to stay awake for as long as the aurora was visible, and that's led me into this morning, which has also given me a beautiful, colourful sunrise. I'm very tired though, so I'm just doing the bare minimum. I'm not getting my feet wet this morning. And as soon as that colour's gone in the sky, I'm gonna pack up and head to bed. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, stay tuned because I will likely have a couple more coming from this trip. See ya.